If you're old enough, you probably remember watching one of the billion cop shows that aired during the 80s and 90s. The developers of Beat Cop clearly remember this as well, as they draw a lot of the game's atmosphere and tropes from those same television shows. In Beat Cop, you play as Jack Kelly, a homicide detective that has recently been demoted to a regular old beat cop. During his last homicide case, some diamonds disappeared, as well as something he has no knowledge of at all, and ran afoul of a very powerful politician. Clearly something major is going on behind the scenes, and you've been made into the fall guy. Despite being relegated to handing out tickets on a city block in Brooklyn, New York, you're determined to figure out what the hell happened and get your old job back. Of course, things won't be so simple when your block is home to the Mafia, a black gang, and all sorts of other shifty types. The story of Beat Cop is pretty much bog standard for this kind of genre, but that's really only on paper. After playing through the first few days of the game, the writing in it managed to pull me right into it. Everything plays out on a pretty small scale. The only places you're gonna see are the PlayStation in the morning and this one city block, but it can feel pretty big. There's tons of things going on a pretty constant basis. You might have only been tasked to deal with parking tickets on one day, but it's pretty rare that you'll get to just laze around waiting for meters to expire. Nope. You're going to be dealing with all sorts of craziness, from stopping mafia protection schemes all the way up to bomb threats. The characters you talk to in the game are pretty interesting and really run the gamut. Sure, some are pretty average people, like Adamski, the Jewish guy that runs the deli, while some are pretty out there, like the old lady you get tricked into going shopping for at one point in the game. I really enjoyed every character in this game, and they would have made this worth playing even if there was zero gameplay at all. But there is gameplay to be found, and while it's fairly simplistic, it was oddly addictive to me. Most of your day is spent clicking around the map, patrolling up and down the street. You can talk to folks with dialogue boxes above their heads, as well as go into various businesses on the block. However, you're generally beginning your day by looking at cars and giving out tickets. And how do you do that, you ask? Well, first you check out around the car to see if they're parked in a no parking zone. Then you can also check the meter nearby. Clicking on a car will allow you to check their lights and tires for issues, and if you find anything, then you write out a ticket and hope the driver doesn't come back. If they don't, then you can call a tow truck, if you feel like it anyway. And if they do, well, the drivers in this game are the worst. If they show up when you're ticketing them, they'll usually attempt to bribe you, and if you refuse, then it'll usually end with them calling you a fucking pig and driving off. Remind me to ticket you again, asshole. The game will hound you for money, be it the fact that you have to go somewhere to eat every day, or the fact that you have to pay alimony all the time. So why not just take those bribes? Well, on some days, plainclothes cops will be there to nail you for it, so you've got to be selective about when and where you take them. Getting busted for taking bribes will reduce your standing with the police, and you will generally have your daily pay docked, so sometimes they really aren't worth the trouble. However, you also have a reputation with the people, the gang, and the mafia to think about, so it can be an interesting balancing act. Give out too many tickets like a hard ass, the people will start to dislike you and will be far less cooperative. Help the mafia out too much? Well, your standing with the opposing gang will likely go down, and they will be less cooperative, and vice versa. If you want to get the true ending to the game and get to the bottom of that diamond mystery, you're gonna need everyone's help to get there. The first time I played the game, I didn't manage to get that ending. I didn't do a very good job balancing these things out, and I also missed an important meeting with someone, so I lost my chance. The game does give you the ability to redo past days from the main menu, but it's up to you if you want to do that or not. You will need to do a bunch of different things during the same events to get all of the achievements, however, so it's worth a couple playthroughs. Another mechanic in the game is the ability to use your handcuffs and your gun, but these are very specific. If someone yells out that their car is being stolen, you can run after the perp by double-clicking, and hopefully not running out of stamina, and then clicking the handcuffs when you get close enough. Using your gun is a bit different. Generally, you will run into a situation that pretty blatantly lets you know that, hey, you're gonna need to shoot some guys. So you click your gun to whip it out, and then a target will start moving over top the bad guys. You need to time your clicks just right in order to hit them. Don't take too long or you'll be shot instead. Both mechanics work, but feel a little clumsy. Perhaps the developers knew this, or it just fits the setting, because you don't use either of these things all that often. You're gonna be way more reliant on your ticket book and your mouth to get by on this city block. And no, I don't mean mouth that way, you perverts. Everything essentially comes down to time management and balancing out your decisions, but it all blends into something incredibly addicting. I certainly didn't expect to put as many hours into this game as I did, but I'm hardly complaining about it. Beat Cop has that typical indie style of pixel art, but they've put so much detail and life into every bit of this city street that it's really miles ahead of numerous other games with a similar look. I'm just walking down the street and taking in everything around me. You can see all sorts of different cars, different people walking down the street, random things going on in windows, etc. This section of Brooklyn in the 80s might be a rundown shithole, but it definitely feels alive. The sound in Beat Cop also plays an important role in bringing the game to life. There's very little music in the game, most of it being restricted to the stations, stores, and important events, but the ambient noise around you is great at setting the mood. You've got basic traffic noises pretty constantly, but you'll also hear people talking to each other, music blaring from beatboxes, stray cats meowing, and tools running in the auto body shop. It's all noise that blends into the background, but that's absolutely perfect, as that's really what a beat cop on a city street should be hearing. Saving the best music for the dramatic moments was also a great choice. Not only does it highlight events, but it also builds up a lot of tension in that moment. It can't be easy to make your players feel tense in a game that looks like this, but the developers nailed it. The fact that the music is also very good is just icing on the cake. Needless to say, I had a great time with Beat Cop, and my only real complaint is that there isn't any more. I got sucked right into this game and spent numerous hours getting all of the achievements and wrapping up the missing diamonds storyline. The time management aspects of this may not be to everyone's taste, but it's well worth giving a shot anyway.